Hello. I'd like to start with a short question. What is the human being? What are we? So to find an answer, I went online and had a look, and this is what I found. What is the human being? We are apparently 65% oxygen, 18.5% carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium, so on and so forth. But is that it? Is that what we are? We have the tendency to think that there is something more to the human being than these components of the physical body, that we're not reducible to bits of oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and so on. And this something more is what the philosophical tradition, from ancient philosophers such as Plato and Aristotle, to medievals such as Thomas Aquinas, to early modern philosophers such as René Descartes, call the soul. Now, it seems a bit weird to talk about the soul in the contemporary world, especially when we're thinking about the future and about technology. But today I want to argue that a reconsideration of the notion of the soul from classical, that is ancient and medieval philosophy, can help us rethink what is information and how we relate to information. But before that, let me just clarify what I mean by the soul. So by the soul, I don't mean some kind of ghostly substance or principle of consciousness or rationality, as understood by Descartes and his followers in modern philosophy. Instead, by the soul, I mean what Aristotle and Thomas Aquinas call the form of the human body. So according to this view, the body is what us humans have as our matter, whereas the soul is what we have as our form. The human soul is related to the body as form is to matter. Now, this all sounds a bit abstract, doesn't it? So maybe we can use an example to help us think through these categories. So here I have a picture taken 25 years ago, and I wonder who that might be. Yeah, it's me. Or is it? Is that me? So if we believe that the body renews itself, I'm not sure if this is scientifically correct, but let's just run with it. If the body replaces all its cells every 7 to 10 years, then the kid 25 years ago, pictured there, is a completely different being from who I am, at least materially speaking. But then we kind of have this kind of intuition that there is some kind of continuity or connection between the kid and me here. And this is what the notion of the soul seeks to do. The soul is that which persists throughout the material changes of the body. The body may change over time, but the soul remains. The matter may change and get replaced, but the form is still the same. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, you don't have the same form as the kid over there. You look way older. And that's true, or at least I hope it's true. But by the form, I want to be clear, I don't mean the physical shape or appearance of a thing, but rather the meaning or essence or whatness of a thing. So, for example, the form of an apple is not roundness or redness, but appleness. It is what makes this thing an apple as opposed to a human. The form is that which gives this thing its meaning as an apple. It's the definition or the meaning of the thing. So if you excuse me for a moment, I'm proving to you this is a real apple. Yeah? So what has happened here? We've witnessed a bit of change. The apple has changed its shape, but the form, its meaning, is still the same, insofar as this is still an apple. The material, the matter has changed, but the form is the same. What has happened to this bit of matter here? It has been transformed. It's been taken on new form. It has been transformed into my body, into human flesh. And according to the ancient view, my soul has informed this bit of matter into becoming part of my body. It is now human body instead of apple. So my body has changed. I've gained this bit of matter here. I'm materially speaking not the same as I was 30 seconds ago. But then we want to say, well, my soul is still the same. I am still me. And this is what the form does. The soul, as the form of the human, is that which holds the body together by informing different bits of matter into becoming a unified, meaningful whole. Without the soul, we'd just be random bits of unorganized matter. Bit of carbon, bit of oxygen, bit of apple. And it's the soul that brings all these things together and to form a unity and to give it meaning. And this is what the classical philosophers call informare in the Latin. To give form or meaning to something. And this is also where we get our notion of information from. Our soul, our form, is in a sense a type of information. It is the type of information that makes us who we are, what we are. The type of information that makes us us. So as the Oxford philosopher Luciano Floridi puts it, we are our information. We are essentially our information, our form. Our form is our essence, is what defines us, what it means to be us. It makes us who we are, what we are. So when you see a picture of me, what happens is you get informed about me. The picture informs you and causes you to form some idea about what I'm like, about who I am. And this happens not just with photos, but all types of information. So as you can see from my Facebook update here, you get a sense of who I am or what I am. I'm a Mac user. I watch The Walking Dead, which has all sorts of interesting ideas about the human body and soul and life and all that. But let's just not go into that today. Where was I? So from all this, you get informed. You get a sense of who I am, what I am. You are receiving my form, if you will, receiving effects that are caused by my form, or indeed my soul. So when we upload our photos to like Facebook, Instagram, or share our feelings on Twitter, or even have our talks recorded and uploaded to YouTube, what I am doing here is uploading form to the internet, or even, in a sense, uploading my soul, or at least effects of my soul online. Now, I want to be clear, by all this, I don't mean the kind of hypothetical process of uploading our minds or our brains to some computer to replace our bodies as a way of life extension or human enhancement. I don't mean any of that technological transhumanist stuff at all. What I'm trying to do instead is to give us a framework to think about why we seem to intrinsically care about our information, why we care about how many likes we get, whether our information gets stolen or misused, or indeed how the information of our loved ones gets treated, as if there's some kind of non-material connection between us and our information, between human beings and their information, what we may call a formal connection between the two. Now, this all sounds a bit abstract and metaphysical, but I think seeing a formal connection between the human and information can help us understand and treat information in a more humane way. So to quote Floridi again, to realize that when we deal with personal and private information, we are dealing with human beings themselves, and should therefore exercise the same care and show the same ethical respect we would exercise and show when dealing with other people. In other words, to treat people's information as we would treat people themselves. To see a connection between us and our information does not only affect how we understand information, it also gives us a new way of understanding ourselves. So as we think more carefully about what is information, or indeed how we relate to information, we may also see that our practices of uploading and sharing our information are also ways of shaping our lives, or indeed shaping our sense of self. And perhaps, through this new way of self-examination, we may start to think more carefully again about who we are, how we relate to others, or indeed what it means to be human. To start examining our lives through examining our way of sharing our information. To start examining our information as a way of examining our lives, or even to care for our information the same way we may care for our souls. Thank you.